The hidden purpose of pain. Pain is universal. Every single soul that walks this earth knows what it feels like to break, to lose, to fall apart inside while pretending to stand tall on the outside. It comes in many forms. Heartbreak that feels like your chest is splitting open. Betrayal that cuts deeper than any knife. Failure that makes you doubt your worth. Or disappointment that shatters your dreams. And in those moments, pain feels like the enemy, like a cruel punishment life has forced upon you. But if you look deeper, if you listen with the ears of the spirit rather than the mind, you will realize that pain is not here to destroy you. Pain is here to awaken you. Pain is one of the greatest teachers life has ever created. It strips away illusions. It exposes the lies you tell yourself, and it pushes you into corners where you can no longer pretend to be less than who you are. Pain reveals strength you never knew existed. It forces you to grow, to dig deep, to rise in ways you never thought possible. Think about it. The moments that shaped you the most, the moments that gave you the wisdom you carry today, weren't they born out of pain? The heartbreak that taught you how to value love, the failure that taught you resilience, the rejection that pushed you to discover your true worth. Without those moments, you would not be who you are right now. Pain breaks you open, yes, but it does not break you down without purpose. When you are cracked wide open by suffering, that is when the light of transformation can finally enter. That is when the walls of pride, ego, and false security collapse and you are forced to face yourself honestly. Pain invites you to let go of what no longer serves you. It invites you to rise above the illusions of comfort and step into the raw, unfiltered truth of your soul. It is in pain that we realize we are more than our circumstance. It is in pain that we discover the courage to change. And it is through pain that we awaken to the power we carry within. Your pain is not your enemy. It is your silent guide. It is the whisper of life saying, I know this hurts, but I am shaping you for something greater. Transforming wounds into strength. Every wound carries within it a hidden gift. The difference between those who rise and those who remain trapped in suffering is this. Some choose to let their wounds define them, while others choose to let their wounds refine them. Pain can either imprison you in bitterness, or it can set you free in wisdom and strength. The choice is always yours. When we suffer, our first instinct is to ask, why me? Why is this happening to me? But the truth is, pain is not happening to you. It is happening for you. It is the chisel in the hands of a master sculptor, shaping you into who you are meant to become. If you only see your pain as punishment, you miss its purpose. But when you ask, what can I learn from this? How is this shaping me? What strength is being forged in me through this fire? That is when transformation begins. Your pain is raw energy. When ignored, it burns you from within. It creates anger, resentment, despair. But when channeled, that same energy becomes the fire of determination, the fuel for resilience, the source of unstoppable drive. The very fire that once threatened to consume you becomes the flame that lights your path forward. Look at the strongest souls in history. Leaders, healers, artists, visionaries. None of them were spared from pain. In fact, their greatness was born through it. Their wounds became wisdom, their struggles became stories of inspiration, their scars became symbols of strength. The universe entrusted them with hardship because it knew they were strong enough to transform it, and so are you. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you have endured. They are proof that you have walked through fire and survived. Each scar tells a story, and each story carries a lesson. When you embrace those lessons, your pain stops being just something you endured and becomes something you can use. You can use it to grow, to lead, to inspire, to lift others who are walking through the very darkness you once knew. When you stop running from your wounds and start embracing them, you discover something extraordinary. The wound itself becomes the doorway. The very thing you thought would break you becomes the very thing that builds you. That is the miracle of transformation, the alchemy of turning pain into power, rising and never giving up. Even after understanding the purpose of pain and the power of transformation, there will be days when quitting feels easier than rising. There will be mornings when you wake up heavy with doubt, when the road ahead looks endless, when the fire of motivation feels faint. On those days, the temptation to give up will whisper louder than your dreams. But this is exactly where strength is born. In the decision to keep going when everything inside you screams to stop. To never give up does not mean the journey will be smooth. It does not mean you will never stumble, never fail, never feel lost. It means that despite all of this, you choose to rise again. It means that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you refuse to stay down. It means that when fear, doubt, and exhaustion try to chain you, you ignite your fire and keep moving forward. Remember, even the strongest oak tree was once a tiny seed that had to push through layers of heavy soil before it could see the sun. Even the diamond was once a piece of carbon crushed under unimaginable pressure before it could shine. Even the brightest star burns in the darkest night sky. Greatness is never born in ease. It is always forged in fire. When you refuse to give up, something shifts within you. Every act of persistence builds your character. Every choice to keep moving strengthens your spirit. Every small victory against despair fuels your belief, and soon momentum takes over. What once felt impossible becomes possible. What once felt unbearable becomes a story of triumph. Your journey is not about perfection, it is about persistence. It is about waking up each day and deciding that no matter what happens, you will keep walking. No matter how heavy the burden, you will not surrender. No matter how dark the night, you will keep moving toward the dawn. You may stumble, you may cry, you may feel broken. But as long as you rise, as long as you breathe, as long as your fire still burns, you have not been defeated, and you never will be. Because your pain is not the end. Your pain is the beginning of your power. And as long as you never give up, that power will only grow. So rise with your scars, rise with your lessons, rise with your fire. The world needs the light only you can bring. And no matter how hard the road, never, ever give up. As we reach the end of this journey, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on everything we've uncovered. We spoke of pain and its hidden purpose. We spoke of transformation, the miracle of turning wounds into wisdom and scars into strength. And we spoke of the unshakable choice to never give up, no matter how heavy the burden or how dark the road may become. But none of this means anything unless you take it into your heart and begin to live it. So let us bring it all together now, into one truth that can guide you forward, not just today, but every day of your life. Your pain is not meaningless. It is not random. It is not evidence that life has abandoned you or that you are too weak to stand. In fact, your pain is evidence of your resilience. It is proof that you are alive, that you have something worth fighting for, that your soul is strong enough to walk through fire and still rise. Every trial you have faced, every tear you have shed, every moment you thought was the end, it was all shaping you, carving you, refining you into the person you are becoming. Pain is not your prison. Pain is your passageway. Think of the moments you believed you couldn't go on, yet somehow you did. Think of the battles you fought in silence, the nights you cried in the dark, the mornings you still rose despite the weight on your chest. Those were not defeats. Those were victories. Because each time you stood again, even with trembling legs, even with a broken heart, you proved something. Fear never wanted you to discover. You are unbreakable. Yes, life will test you. It will throw storms that shake your faith, losses that pierce your soul, and obstacles that seem immovable. But every storm carries rain that nourishes. Every loss creates space for something new. Every obstacle is an invitation to grow stronger. When you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "How is this shaping me? What strength is being born in me through this?" Then pain stops being your enemy and becomes your greatest ally. The truth is, you were not created to merely survive. You were created to rise, to shine, to carry your light into a world that desperately needs it. And your pain, as heavy as it feels, is the very tool that can unlock your power. Without it, you might have remained comfortable, hidden, small, but because of it, you are being invited to awaken, to step into a greater version of yourself, to live with fire, courage, and purpose. But awakening alone is not enough. You must rise. You must decide, again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. that you will not surrender, that you will not let fear write your story, that you will not allow pain to be the final chapter. To never give up does not mean you will never fall. It means you will never stop rising. It means you will carry your scars as proof of your strength, not as evidence of your weakness. And here is something you must remember. When you rise, you do not rise alone. Others are watching, others who feel broken, lost, and defeated. When they see your courage, when they see your fire, when they see that you turned your pain into power, they will begin to believe they can too. Your rising creates ripples. Your light ignites other flames. Your story becomes the very hope someone else needs to keep going. So never underestimate the power of your journey. Your scars may one day heal another's wound. Your resilience may one day inspire another's breakthrough. Your persistence may one day save another's life. And all of it begins with one simple choice. Do not give up. There will always be another challenge. There will always be another storm. But there will also always be a fire inside you strong enough to meet it. That fire has carried you this far, and it will carry you further still. You only need to trust it. You only need to keep rising. You only need to remember, when the darkness feels endless and the weight feels unbearable, that this too shall pass. And when it does, you will not only survive it, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and more powerful than before. So as you step forward from this moment, carry this truth in your heart. Your pain is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your strength. And as long as you breathe, as long as you believe, as long as you refuse to surrender, nothing in this world can defeat you. Rise with your scars. Rise with your lessons. Rise with your fire. Turn every ounce of pain into power, and let that power lead you to the life you were destined to live. And above all, never, ever give up.